Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Bamboo Brief. We are diving right in today because the Nigerian market had a fantastic start to the week. Let's break down the biggest movers from this past Monday, October 13th. Okay, check this out. The week kicked off with an absolutely massive surge. We're talking 465 billion naira added to the market's value on Monday alone. Now that is some serious momentum, the kind that really makes you sit up and pay attention. So, what does that translate to? Well, that surge pushed the NGX all-share index up by a solid 0.5%. Now, I know, 0.5% might not sound like a huge number, but trust me, for an entire index, that's a really strong green day. It just sets such a positive, optimistic tone for the rest of the week. So, the big question is, what was driving this winning start? Well, it looks like it all boils down to some fresh investor confidence, especially in a few key sectors that just absolutely took off. And this right here really tells the story of the day in one picture. Look at that breakdown. Count them, 3 of the top 5 gainers were from the insurance sector. I mean, power and real estate put in a good showing, for sure. But insurance? Insurance was without a doubt the star of the show on Monday. Okay, so let's name some names, shall we? Which companies were actually leading this charge? Let's get into the top 5 performers that really made Monday such an impressive day. All right, here they are. Topping the charts, we've got Sovereign Trust Insurance, or SOVRNINS, with a wild gain that was knocking on the door of that 10% daily limit. Right behind it, another insurer, Regency Alliance. Then you got the heavyweight, Transcorp Power, followed by Consolidated Hallmark, and rounding out our incredible top 5 is Haldane McCall. Okay, with a performance like that, we absolutely have to zoom in on what was happening in the insurance space. I mean, the sheer dominance here, it was just too big to ignore. And sitting at the very peak, the king of the hill for the day was Sovereign Trust Insurance. They weren't just the leader in their sector, they led the entire market. Let's break down the numbers, because they're pretty impressive. They clocked in a massive 9.97% gain, closing at 3.53 kobo. But here's the really crucial part, the volume. We're talking over 23 million shares changing hands. That's how you know this wasn't just a fluke. That price jump was backed by some very strong investor interest. You know, all this talk about volume brings up a really important term for today, and that's the volume leader. It's pretty straightforward, right? It's just the stock that had the most shares traded in a single day. And interestingly enough, on Monday, that title didn't go to our number 1 gainer. Nope. It went to another insurance company, Consolidated Hallmark Holdings, also known as Conhall plc. It wasn't the biggest gainer in terms of percentage, but man, it was the undisputed center of attention for the entire market. So Conhall put up a very respectable 7.14% gain, but just look at that volume. Over 210 million shares were traded. I mean, to put that into perspective for you, that is almost 10 times the volume of Sovereign's, the day's top gainer. It just completely blew everything else out of the water, making it the most active stock of the day by a long shot. And this just goes to show you, right? There are different kinds of stories playing out in the market at the same time. On one hand, you had Regency Alliance Insurance, the number 2 gainer, with that awesome 9.68% price jump. And on the other hand, you had Conhall, which was all about sheer, raw trading activity. Both are flashing big green lights for the insurance sector. All right, so let's step away from the insurance frenzy for a minute because there were some other big players making moves in the power and real estate sectors that also had a fantastic day. And in the power sector, one name really stood out from the crowd, Transcorp Power plc. This is one of the market's true giants, and it landed itself the spot as the 3rd biggest gainer of the day. Transpower shot up an impressive 8.92%, closing at 342 naira. Now, what makes this so significant is that this is a SWOT, a stock worth over 1 trillion naira. We're talking a market cap of 2.57 trillion. For a company that massive to move almost 9% in one day, that's like turning an oil tanker on a dime. It sends ripples across the entire market. And finally, rounding out our top 5 for the day, we have Haldane McCall plc, flying the flag for the real estate sector with a really strong performance. HMCAL put up a solid 6.80% gain, closing the day at 4 naira 40 kobo, and it did so on some pretty healthy trading volume. It's just another fantastic sign that the positive feeling on Monday wasn't isolated. It was spread out across multiple important parts of the economy. Seeing a rally that's this broad, this widespread, it's just genuinely exciting, isn't it? It's a powerful reminder of the kinds of opportunities that pop up in the market every single day. So maybe you're watching this and thinking, man, how do I get in on this? Well, the good news is it's probably way easier than you think. Really, it all comes down to three super simple steps. First, download the Bamboo app. Second, you fund your account. And third, you can start investing in companies just like the ones we've been talking about today. Oh, and hey, if you use my referral code, it's right there in the description. It's a fantastic way to get started, and it also helps support the channel. All right, so let's wrap this up. What's the final brief? The main takeaway here is that Monday was a powerful, confident start to the trading week, with a huge surge of investor interest that was just impossible to miss, especially in that red-hot insurance sector. And that really brings us to the big question I have for you. After a day like Monday, what stocks have just jumped onto your watch list? What are you going to be keeping a close eye on for the rest of the week? Let me know. Drop your watch list down in the comments below. I'd love to see what you're thinking. And hey, if you got some value out of this breakdown, do me a favor and hit that like button, and definitely subscribe for more insights just like this. As always, thank you for watching the Bamboo Brief.